My name's Darryl Asbury. I'm the Executive Head Teacher for Standards for Perry Hall Math, and I'm also the Head Teacher for Dunster Hall Primary Schools, which was the third school to join the Trust in 2016. I'm fortunate because Lee Fellow is the head of school, supports me in the operation of the school to allow me to do my other part of my job, which is the Executive Head Teacher for Standards. I am responsible for supporting the head teachers and the heads of schools for all the other schools within the Trust in ensuring that the children achieve the outcomes they're entitled to.
Schools working together as a team, it comes from the leadership team. I am very, very privileged. I've got amazing heads and actually amazing middle leaders, and the senior leadership team makes us who we are. Their drive and their vision and their passion and their core values are the same. Even though the individual schools have their core values, it still resonates on the fact that we don't let children down. Our motto for the Trust is "Together we succeed." So that comes from leaders and also the children working together.
We're partners in the outcomes for our children. We're partners in supporting our families. The parents of our children are the prime providers of education, and sometimes we need to support them in being enable them to support their children. You know, we work together as a partnership, so that partnership is mirrored in the relationships we have together as individual schools. It's mirrored in the relationship we have on the wider leadership team. It's mirrored in the relationship with the CEO. It's mirrored within our governing bodies, mirrored with the parents within our team. It's all about partnership. That's why we function. We function in partnership. The aim is the outcomes for those children.
My name's Emma Dias and I'm PA to the CEO within the Trust. So I also support the other heads as well. I deal with communications between staff and also parents, governors, trustees, and I also deal with external providers and customers as well. I put together newsletters for both staff within the Trust and also parents. We do one every half term for the staff and one every term for parents. And the newsletters are a really nice way of celebrating all the wonderful things that happen across all of our schools. And for parents in particular, I think it's important for them to see what goes on in the rest of the Trust as opposed to just their school in particular. And they're also a lovely way of announcing important updates or news. I work with a fantastic group of people that are all there just to support each other, and everybody really values what the next person does, which makes the job really enjoyable. Ensuring that communication is successful and that people have all the information they need when they need it allows people to focus on the children, which is what's important.
I'm Jeremy Parks. I'm the Strategic Head of Finance and Business Administration for Perry Hall Multi-Academy Trust, and I've been with the Trust almost 5 years now. I'm responsible for the central business team, and that includes financial responsibilities, HR responsibilities, data and all transactional processing. Let the schools focus on teaching and learning, and then all the quote-unquote other stuff that could get in the way is dealt with for them. And what we say is that they actually pay for a shared service contribution. That's how we badge ourselves. We're a service. The schools and the heads and their wider leadership teams are customers, and we want to make sure as a central team that we're providing the best service possible. And we call ourselves a shared service because, again, we're a small team and we share ourselves as best as we can across the currently 5 schools that we have. Because we're trying to keep the schools as financially robust as possible, the children are actually gaining from that because there's more cash and resources going into the classroom rather than maybe elsewhere. So as part of a multi-academy trust, one of the major benefits is having procurement synergies. So we've got buying power, and then that means obviously additional resources that can be targeted, like you say, for the pupils within our school.
When you have a child, they are the most precious thing you've got. And to have the privilege of actually them handing their child to us to look after, we have an obligation and a right to make sure that we do everything we can for them. And that's what we pride ourselves on, and that's what we look to make sure that our staff understand as well, because that is a privilege. You know, you've got the opportunity to influence a young person and who they're going to be as an adult. And sometimes I don't think we stop and take stock and think, actually, wow, you know, they started in reception, they couldn't write, and they've got to the end of reception and they can write, they can do their name, I get to end of year 2 and the confident speakers, you know, all those little milestones that matter, and that matter to a parent. I'd like to think it matters to us as well.